This podcast is brought to
you for that. Me, I can't even say them. I can't say them and see if anyone complains. Because anyone can complain to the FCC in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. You can write that out. They will release a new emoji of a man whose belly is birthed. He's a pregnant man. But because I can't say them. About Giuliani and disinformation from the right. And we're supposed to trust them because their armband is going to say DGB.
No, when more and more people from the TikTok generation,
the Ukrainian foreign minister is going to say DGB.
No,
as Abe Lincoln and Secretary of Defense. I thought that was a joke. I thought it was supposed to. Okay, now play it.
This is as real as a heart attack.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious.
Biden saw that and went, "You got the job."
Yeah, she should be the head of the DGB. No. I really, you need to wave your right hand with an orange glove when the parody is real.
It's how you hide a little lie, little lie. It's how you hide a little lie, little lie.
That's crazy.
It's a shame.
That person is going to be, and she's doing her funky fresh rhymes about Giuliani and disinformation from the right. And we're supposed to trust them because their armband is going to say DGB.
No, when more and more people from the TikTok generation make their way into positions of power in our government, look out. We're headed for a bleak future. That's why I rarely post on social media anymore, to be honest with you.
It was 6:30 that I bumped in with the Sublime song about the LA riots. And now at 8:25, someone from the 818 area code, wherever that is, says, "Ugh, why do we have to listen to Sublime? Ugh."
Because they're great?
An Ugh sandwich. 2 Uggs, and the meat is, why do we have to listen to Sublime? Because it's a song about the LA riots is why. It's subject matter appropriate. All right, this is from earlier this week. It turns out as Abe Lincoln and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin visited with Volodymyr Zelensky in Kiev, they clearly informed Zelensky, congratulations, you're going to get an upgrade. You're going to level up. When you respawn, you are going to be in NATO gear. You are going to be NATOfied from the ground up. You're going to not NATO caliber, but actual NATO equipment to shoot NATO caliber artillery, mortars, etc. is coming your way. We're going to rearm you as equals to any NATO nation, except that you're not eligible to be in NATO because you're in the midst of a war. It's sort of a pre-existing condition, and we're not Obamacare. So anyway, this is him announcing this, and apparently some of the administration were not on the same page as the rest of NATO and the White House.
We want to see Ukraine remain a sovereign country, a democratic country, able to protect its sovereign territory. We want to see Russia weakened to the degree that it can't do the kinds of things that it has done in invading Ukraine.
So I heard that, and I thought, well, maybe that's his inner, Colonel Nathan R. Jessup coming out. Maybe this is him, in the adrenaline of being in Kiev saying, I want to see Russia weakened. And maybe this is him saying, you're damn right, I ordered the code red. But then later on, the Ukrainian foreign minister was live on MSNBC at 4 a.m., and he said something that was a departure from what they had been saying for 60 days, and it was, we're going to win. Now I know we're going to win. I'm wondering, wait, why did Austin say weakened, and why did the foreign minister now stop saying we need your help immediately? Now he's saying we'll win.
Our General Petraeus famously was asked at the beginning of the 2003 invasion of Iraq, tell me how this ends. Mm-hmm. Tell us how this ends.
Will win. It will be a European democratic country, and Russia will be contained. It will not be able to pose a threat to any country in the world. We will pay the price for the safety of the world, but we are ready to do it because it's also the price for our own independence.
There you go. And that was a marked difference. And I'm reminded, as long as I'm going to throw Eugene Robinson of the Washington Post under the bus, here's an apt analogy to what the way he sounds there, the foreign minister of Ukraine, and Lloyd Austin. Two people on Earth knew America was about to enter World War II and that the war was won on December 7th, 1941. Two people. One person poured a drink, and the other person knew that they were effed. And the person that knew that they were screwed was Admiral Yamamoto, because the entire plan was that the carriers would be in Pearl Harbor. They were not. And he knew because of that, we ain't winning. We don't have a year to run free in the Pacific like he promised. The other person was in London, and it was Winston Churchill. When the news of Pearl Harbor came in, in the early evening in London, he poured himself a drink. Well, not that he needed that much of an excuse to pour himself a drink. His excuse to pour a drink was he woke up in the morning, literally drank champagne for breakfast. But he poured himself a drink because he knew that America was now in the war. It had taken a side, and that with America directly in the war, Britain would win, that the Allies would win. So Churchill had spent years in the United States. His mother was an American. He knew all about America. The only person in the entire Japanese government process, from emperor to the lowest guy in the Navy, the guy who knew more about America than anyone else was Yamamoto, because he went to Harvard. He was the naval liaison. He knew we're screwed. I gave you guys the only way we could win. You didn't do it because the Americans weren't there. Anyway, so that's it. That is your historical analogy takeaway. Folks, the anecdote for April 29th, 2022. We'll be back in a second. AM 770 KTTH. The pressure's on. Saving the best for last of the week right after this. Let's get you to work with our right-way traffic. AM 770 KTTH. Hope is not a plan. Don't be that guy, and don't drink your urine. All right.
Are you going to see any of the offerings from Hollywood this weekend, Brian?
I am not. I do want to see that Northman thing, but I'm so addicted to sitting at an angle in my overstuffed leather couch looking at a giant 4K screen. I think it's not a movie till it's streaming.
That's not a bad plan. I think the biggest movie out is this film called Memory with Liam